Hey wine moms and puppy lovers everywhere. I wanted to let you know that our new store, The Fetching Barker, is now open. Shop the cutest and eco-friendly, natural, and handcrafted dog supplies. The Fetching Barker has everything your pup needs and so much more. From toys to travel essentials, a wide line of CBD and hemp products, snacks and treats to handcrafted accessories. Shop your favorite brands like Pet Head, Becco Pets, Papilla, Peddleton Pet, and more, or find new brands that I am sure you're going to love. Visit thefetchingbarker.com and feel good that a portion of all profits go to support global conservation efforts. I mean, this is the planet our pet loves, right? That's thefetchingbarker.com. Do you want a real, honest, and flexible career that you can do from home? This is not another direct sales gig or one of those fake get-rich-quick schemes, but a real, professional, and flexible way to earn a legitimate 5 to 6 figure income around your lifestyle. What I'm talking about here is bookkeeping. And yes, you heard that right, bookkeeping. This position has been around for over a century and has been an upstanding and honest career path within the financial industry. A bookkeeper is the backbone to any business and the right hand to a CPA or EA. Traditionally, this position has been in an office setting or placed within an accounting firm. But with today's technology and cloud-based programs, bookkeeping is now available and trusted to be done anywhere. This is why I've released my Home Bookkeeper Masterclass. This class gives you all the knowledge and insight on how to launch your very own home bookkeeping business and goes along with the #1 accounting program in the nation. You'll also receive a business resource guide on my favorite bookkeeping aids and how to use them, and a Pro Advisor study guide to help you pass the free, yes I said free, online certification with the same accounting program that I use at my bookkeeping firm, EDJ Consulting. Head over to the resources page at emmadon.com to enroll in the Home Bookkeeper Masterclass today. Hey wine moms, and thank you for listening to this MW Network and Emmadon production. Now available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, themommywines.com, and wherever else you get your favorite podcasts. For exclusive content and early access, make sure to tune in on Patreon. Okay, well, now that you've almost put me on the verge of tears, let's get off of this sappy, sloppy dog topic. And I was looking at your Instagram, and you are so creative.
Yes, that's my thing.
With color.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean hair color. And I'm going to tell you, okay, this might even be my confession. So I don't know if you've listened to previous podcasts, but we confess on this show. And we wash our sins away with wine. But this is going to be my confession, and it's that I have been box dyeing my hair like deep burgundy. My hair is, it's one of those weird situations. Like normally people are like, oh, you know, if you want to dye your hair red, just be prepared because it's the one color that washes out super easy. But for my hair, it's like the opposite. Red will stay in my hair for years. And I've been box dyeing my hair like dark cherry red for a long time. And I think it's time to put the box down.
That's the best. That's very good for your hair. Your hair will be happy.
Thank you. I washed away my sins with a sip because it is like, I don't know what it is about like boxed hair dye. First of all, it makes my entire house smell for like a day. And the one that gives me the best color is that, like, I think it's like the Feria. It's like a purple and silver box. and it's like the bright red one. But my hair is already dark, so it's like it turns super super dark, and it gives me a long lasting color, but my hair is like awful for like
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks after. And I always go in and I have to shampoo it and then condition it twice. And it's just, I don't know. It's just getting to be a lot. And I started box dyeing my hair again because I'm a mom, I work. I didn't have like the time to go and sit in a
Mm-hmm.
salon for like hours on end. So I'm like, okay, I'll put the baby to bed, throw some box dye on it, and like I can't see what's going on in the back. So I have no idea if it's even, first
Sure,
of
it's hard
all.
to get back there and make it
Um
even. Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, or like, and it's nice because it's convenient, but like, and I'm lucky because I'm not trying to put like highlights in my own hair or
Right.
anything. It's just one flat color. But I don't know. I just don't think I can do it
So,
anymore.
really quick, the thing about box dye, and probably why, you have these observations of the scent staying in your house for a day or two, or how your hair is not in the best condition after you do it, and it takes a couple washings and conditionings, is because box dye has very high amounts of ammonia. Now, what do we use ammonia for?
Mm. I've used
Right?
it to
Yeah,
strip
right,
wood.
right,
I've used it to
right.
deep clean
Hmm.
my
So now
shower.
and the reason why it has high amounts of ingredients that aren't necessarily good for us is because it's produced for the masses, right? So it's not serve, it's kind of like buying an over the counter drug versus, going to a doctor and kind of self just prescribing yourself rather than going to a doctor and getting diagnosed specifically for you. It's kind of the same thing. Like when a client comes to me, we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about their hair history. So that you've already kind of given me an insight into your hair history. I'm going to look at it from the canvas perspective, the texture, the tone. If somebody has natural regrowth, what does that look like versus the already colored parts of it? More than likely, knowing that like you box dye your hair before I did anything that contains a chemical, I would want to do like a test strand to see how your hair reacts to it. If anyone ever goes to a salon and the stylist doesn't do all these things, get ready, you could damage your hair. And I've seen the horror stories out there. So I always tell my clients, when you come to me, it's going to be a very different experience because we're going to look at all that together. And more than likely, I'll throw like a deep condition on, or, some kind of scalp treatment just to prep the hair. And while my client's under the dryer or steamer or whatever it is we're doing, I'm running that test strand so then we could properly diagnose what the best plan is. Now, hopefully we can achieve what the client wants when they come in, because Pinterest is our best friend. We get all these lovely ideas from Pinterest, and yes,
Oh,
yes,
yes. I
Pinterest
wanted
is
to
great.
talk about
Yeah,
Pinterest
so just to kind of
in
sum
this.
that up really quick, it might be I might be able to do it that day, or it might be a process with an end game to get there. But for me, it's very important about educating the client so what's best for your hair and how to take care of it, right? Because you're spending all this money, because to your point, you're a mom, you got a baby, you're busy, you're work, so time is of the essence. But we also live on a budget today, and I don't want somebody to come in and
Oh,
spend
yeah.
money and then go home and ruin it by not using the right products at home. So it all goes together. But you wanted to talk about Pinterest, and let me tell you that when I get on Pinterest, I could easily get sucked in for 2 hours. It is.
Oh, it's a rabbit hole for sure. It is. Pinterest, I don't even have it on my phone anymore
Yeah.
because I can't handle it. I have no self-control when it comes to Pinterest. And I will get on there and I'll scroll
Mm-hmm.
through, pin like 500 things. And at the beginning, it'll be bright. It'll be a nice
Mm-hmm.
sunshiny day. And at the
Right.
end, when my phone dies,
That's
I look
hysterical. That's how
outside
I
and it's
get. I mean, I get
10:30.
on my little, I'll go on there because now I'm adding some tattoos, and I just recently added 2 to my collection, and I'm looking to add some more. But let's say that's the subject that I go in for, and then you're like way off on another subject. It's like, how did I even get over here? Like, how am I looking at
Oh my
keto
gosh, I
friendly recipes
know.
or whatever it is? It's like from looking at Asian tattoos or whatever it is. It's just funny, but it is a great source um, as it relates to anything. I mean, right now, because we're down and I don't have hair to, you know, my work to show on my Instagram, I'm doing a lot of hair inspirations and makeup inspirations because I'm also a makeup artist. So I feel like my page is kind of 50 Shades of Beauty is all things beauty. Yeah. So, it started with the
Love
teeth
that.
whitening and I do lip blush, which is a semi-permanent lip tint for the lips. So it is like permanent makeup, but not as bright, and it doesn't go into the dermis as deep into the dermis layers as say permanent cosmetics does. So it can be altered or changed or updated in a couple of years. So it's a little bit less of a risk factor. And then doing hair, which this is all, by the way, my life's second career. So this is all come up in the last 2 years. Um, and yeah,
I read that when
yeah,
you
life's
filled
second
out
career. This is
booking.
it. And it's been a great ride. I just recently, a few months ago, graduated from Paul Mitchell in Salt Lake City, which was such a great journey and bittersweet for me to graduate because that was my second home for a year and a half. And, so
Oh, my friend in college, she
it's an
went to Paul
amazing
Mitchell.
school. And what's
It's
so
a
great
good
about it is
school.
the way we're trained is once we get out, really, honestly, Emma, that's where you really get your training and your education is the real world, right? So yes.
Oh,
But I have
that
to
is for
say that
everything.
I've been very comfortable since I stepped behind the chair outside of school. And I don't have my training wheels of my learning leaders there to ask a question. And I feel very confident and things turn out really beautiful and my clients are extremely satisfied. And you could read some of I always check in. I always ask a day or two later, how's your hair? How are you liking your hair? Because I always say at the end of the appointment, if you want me to refine anything, I want you to live with it for about a week, a couple days to a week, and let me know if you need me to adjust anything. I'm here. I'm totally down with that because this is our first date. When a new client comes to me, that's our first date. So we got to get to know each other. Yeah. So with that said, I
I
get,
love that.
very complimentary responses back. And I think a lot of it is because of my training, how important that consultation is, how important building that relationship is, how important it is to know that client's lifestyle, all the different things, plus the techniques. Um, you're ready to go and work in different salon type scenarios. So the training is great. It is a great school, and like your friend from college experienced, and I'm a lot older than most students, and a lot of them are younger. But my message in school is, as with anything, you're going to get out of this what you put into it, right? So the learning leaders are there to help us, assist
Oh
us,
yeah.
teach us the basics. But really, it's up to us in stepping up and saying, okay, this is me, this is my brand. So for me, my brand, if you will, or what I love to do the most is hair color, because you could be so creative with that. It could go in so many different directions with your client, and cutting hair goes hand in hand. I look at each individual client from their own perspective. Like, no two people are like, I don't cookie cutter and do the same foiling pattern on every single one of my clients, because no two heads are alike. So I don't approach any two heads. No.
You don't you don't do that in the Stepford
I
Wives
don't
town
do that.
of
So their
Utah.
blondes are not going to look like their neighbors. Their blondes are going to be their own.
I I refuse. Oh my gosh. When I first moved here, and I rented a place in Harriman, I would look around in the morning on my way to work, and I would see this just herd of Lululemon blonde bobs pushing double strollers down the road. And I am like,
you're
what
funny.
the hell did I just do? and 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 I'm like, this is insane. What did I do? Is this like, have you ever seen the movie?
Yes, of course.
Like Pleasantville or Stepford Wives?
And they're all beautiful, and they have
gosh.
beautiful bodies. And, you know, that's the thing about Utah. People here are very healthy, and that lends because it's more of an outdoorsy lifestyle than what you and I are used to. Absolutely, this has to be. And I've lived in a couple different states besides the Northeast. I have to say, and I grew up in Hawaii. With this said, this has to be one of the most beautiful states in our country. It's just breathtaking. Anywhere you go, it's mountains. I mean, I'm getting my teeth cleaned, and it's the most beautiful view of snow-capped mountains. You know, you go to the doctor, you're waiting. It's like the most beautiful view. Wherever you go, you're driving down I-15. Like, the view is like, oh my gosh, I want to get my camera up, and I can't. I'm driving. You know, it's amazing. And my husband.
I know. When I would pop over,
that's the best view.
Daybreak Hill on 114
that's
here.
That's the best view right there.
I know. It is. It is the best view. And I used to live over in High Point, which I would come down to 114. And High Point, if you don't know, if you're not a fan of HOAs like myself, I love somebody who's going to mow my grass and shovel my snow because I'm single, and I will not live without an HOA until I'm married, and I can pawn those awful tasks.
You are funny, but it's true.
Man. But it's so true. But if you are not an HOA lover like myself and you love South Jordan, High Point is no HOA, and they have some of the best views. You're going to pay for it, but they have some of the best views.
And to your point, now the weather's getting better. I mean, the last few days, today included in that statement, are just amazing. And, you know, it's just so nice to look at my window here. The view is crazy. But I don't know. I don't see us going back to the East Coast now that we've been here. I think this is it for us. And I think this is it. We just need to figure out where the heck we want to plant the flag. You know, as I say, meaning by the house. Because, you know,
maybe that's me. Because I love the East Coast and Cleveland. Like, I love
I agree with you on that. I get
historic, Victorians. I like small towns.
I totally get that part. Because those are all the things I miss the water towns of New York, where you would go up on Sunday and shop and have brunch or lunch and, you know, walk around. And really here, it's Park City for that. You know, it's a different lifestyle.
Yeah, but who wants to pay those Park City prices? You can't.
No, this is true.
Can't live in Park City. Like, it's so expensive. You gotta slum it down here with the Sauk Ladians or whatever.
But it's true.
Whatever they call
themselves.
Have
you ever driven up the mountains in Park City, like way up beyond Deer Valley, where the homes are they're massive on top of the mountains, and the roads are like 2 feet wide, or it's just crazy. And it's just, it's like a whole other world. It's very, you know, majestical up there. But you're right to the point where everything is clean and modern and new here. And I do tend to miss the Victorian feeling, or the old, you know, that old town feeling. But, you know, everything has its pluses and minuses in life, right? So we like the fact that everything here is civil and it's calmer and people are actually polite. And that was something to kind of overcome when we first moved here. It was like, wow, everybody here is like it almost felt like too nice at first. We were like, yeah, too nice.
Yes. Well, you know what? I think a lot of this, and I've experienced this a few times, is if you're new, the common culture and the common belief system here
Mm-hmm.
is everything's segregated by like zip code. So if you're somebody that's not recognized, then they're going to definitely be like way nice to you.
Right.
Because they know you're new to the neighborhood. And that was like overwhelming. Because in Cleveland, it's stranger danger. You don't just walk up on somebody's property and start knocking on their door. They'll either get you the cops called, get you shot, or have some crazy woman in like a bathrobe coming out to scream at you.
And yeah.
Yeah, but no, everyone's like, hey, you want to come over to a cookie social? You wanna come hang out and play some Yahtzee? And I'm like,
that's so
no.
Funny. That is
no,
funny.
I don't.
And well, as a fellow wine drinker, that was a big adjustment for me, because being in New York and New Jersey, they always had, as I'm sure you did where you lived over on the East Coast, the wine shops, and I would enjoy going in, and I'd always go home with 6 bottles of 6 different kinds of Pinot Noir or whatever. And here, going to the state liquor stores is not the best for me. I don't think it's a great experience. I don't enjoy them at all. They don't smell nice when you walk in. It's just very kind of factory-ish. I don't know. It's just not the same experience. So I go in with an agenda. I grab and go. Get out as fast as I can.
I have done that. And I miss that, because even down into the suburbs of Cleveland, which is where I grew up, you still get like those wine shops where you can go in, you can smell cigars if you want to buy a cigar, you can taste wine, they'll have like a couple specials of like the month, where if you want to come in, it'll be probably something new that they're carrying. You can taste some wine, buy a bottle. You go in, and it
That's
almost
awesome.
looks like an Olive Garden. Like it kind of looks a little like, exposed brick. Like they kind of dressed it up a little bit. And everything is real nice and pretty and clean. But no, in here, and like the liquor stores here, I walk in and I feel like they make them feel ghetto
I didn't think
on
of that,
purpose.
but that is a very good point. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Like, you're doing something bad because it looks shady.
I sometimes feel bad, like going in there. I'm like, I feel like this is so wrong.
I know you leave and you feel a little dirty.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that feels that way.
Oh no, I waited in line for a half an hour, and I'm like, this is the longest one night stand I'm ever gonna have. Because that's the feeling you get when you walk out of a Utah liquor store. You feel like you're doing the walk of shame.
That
like, take my mugshot on the way out.
That is exactly how I feel. So my favorite one is the one in I don't go to the Draper one a lot, but when I was going to Paul Mitchell, the one up the street in Holiday was pretty decent. So I didn't feel like it was that one night stand mugshot feeling as I got in the car. But I totally get it. And that is something that I do miss as well, just talking to the wine shop owners and, their knowledge and kind of picking their brains and, having that conversation. I do miss that. And I miss good, authentic food, because here everything is fast food. And that's an adjustment, because my husband and I are not by any means fast food people. So that's been another adjustment for us.
No, I am like a food person. Like when I was in Cleveland, because I lived in a suburb called Medina. It was about 30 minutes south of Cleveland. So if I was driving 30 minutes there and 30 minutes back, for me, it wasn't a big deal. But if I'm going down there, I'm going down with a mission. I'm either shopping, I'm eating, or I'm drinking, or I'm listening, because Cleveland is rock and roll city. Freaking live music out the wazoo. And people are like, oh no, Nashville's music city. And I'm like, It
Cleveland rocks it
is,
out too.
but there's two music cities. They do so much good local, not even local,
That's
but
awesome.
just like live music. So good. But like back when I was at home, that was one of the things I didn't mind spending money on. I would always spend money on good drinks and good food. And one of the things that I loved, and I still do, and I kind of took for granted, was Cleveland was so it's kind of like New York City, where New York City has all these little boroughs, and Cleveland is like that because they were kind of, as people started settling, New York and Boston were first, and then as they expanded, they moved over to Pittsburgh, and as they expanded there, they moved over to Cleveland, or Philadelphia, and then they moved to Cleveland. And it's all kind of like old mob, old like history kind of stuff. And so Cleveland is all sectioned off in these little boroughs where there's like, Greek Row, Ukrainian Village, Little Italy. And it's just the way it was back when it was settled and started, up and coming. So you go to Ukrainian Village, which is where I lived when I lived in the city, and you get, pierogies, paprikash, all the good stuff. You go to Little Italy, you get like authentic, family-owned, pizza, pasta, breadsticks, all the good stuff, sandwiches. And it's just like every little nook of the city has its own like authentic culture. And as I've moved further out west, I feel like the culture kind of
very
is
much so. That's a very good observation.
Diluted.
I agree with you on that. And that's probably, another big thing, because people are like, how do you like it here? Well, we love it, but there's things that I miss, and that's the cultural diversity. That's why I keep teasing my husband and say I want a house in Sugar House, because Sugar House tends to have more of that diversity and eclectic edge to it. And he's like, we're not getting a house in Sugar House. But I keep telling him that it's like a joke because Sugar House has that older feeling to it. It has a little bit more of an artsy vibe. There are a couple of good restaurants in Salt Lake that I've been to that I like, but I don't really go to, if I'm not working in Salt Lake, I don't go to Salt Lake. That's the thing. Yeah.
And it's just because it's a pain in the ass to get there. Yeah. It's not a glamorous drive. Like, I would drive 30 minutes all day, every day to go to Cleveland. But will I drive 30 minutes to go to downtown Salt Lake? Absolutely not.
Yeah. Unless it is a reason.
It is a war zone. You are risking
they're not
life
the best drivers
every time you go to downtown Salt Lake.
Although, people say that, but I'm like, have you driven in Jersey? Because I have. Or have you driven in New York City? Because I have. So I haven't to compare against that. And, I don't find it that bad. But I get why. And I think sometimes it's because people are too polite, or they're not aggressive enough, and they just don't make a move. And you're like, just make the move, get out of my way. Let's go. It's just funny. Let's show a little hustle.
That is my thing. I snap my fingers and I'm like to my son all the time. I'm like, come on, show a little hustle.
Yeah.
I'll chirp him all day long. So you all have heard me talk about Real Good Foods before. If you follow me on Instagram, and if you don't, you definitely should, you'll have seen Milo devouring the Real Good Foods pizza. Well, my favorite frozen food company is now launching ice cream. Real good ice cream. No icy or chalky texture like other light ice creams. It's made with fresh milk and cream, giving it that smooth, creamy goodness we all love. On a sweet note, there's only 4 grams of sugar. The new Real Good ice creams are sweetened with allulose, a naturally occurring sweetener found in things like figs and dates. This rare sugar has 1/10 of the calories of typical cane sugars, leaving this guilt-free frozen treat with a low 180 calories per serving. You can find this Real Good ice cream online at Real Good Foods and Vitamin Shop. But one of the things that I did want to touch on, and I had a couple questions. Now, going back to Pinterest, as a stylist, do you like it when people bring in like picture references?
That is a great question.
Pinterest give false hope?
And I'm going to say it's all about how I, as a stylist, choose to handle that, right? I encourage it. I like it because it gives me a sense of what the client is looking for, but then it's my job to very gently explain, whether or not that is going to be doable. I might not be able to duplicate that picture. And what we all have to keep in mind with Pinterest, what works as the enemy for me is that could be extensions. It could be a wig. It's the lighting. It could be photoshopped, because believe me, J-Lo does not have those 10 different hairs, styles going on at one time. Right. So J-Lo has extensions putting in and out of her hair. A lot of times she could be wearing hair pieces or wigs, and, we need to understand that. So when I look at the picture with my client and I'm looking at their hair, which we touched on earlier, how I look at their canvas and texture and all the history and all that. So I get the idea of what they're looking for.
Oh, yeah.
And then I explain to them that, okay, but this is what I see for you. Also with colors in Pinterest, a lot of times it's like, I might see like what's caramel? Like, what's your definition of caramel versus mine, right? Do you see a little more red in there? Do you see a little bit more brown? Explain to me what that looks like to you. What do you see? So that's always a question I'll say to them. When you look at that picture, what colors do you see? Because what she sees and what I see could be very different. So I just make, yeah. So that's important.
I've really noticed that. And also when they show these side by side before and afters,
it could be many.
Do you think that's one
like, remember
session?
What I said earlier about, we could get you there, but it's going to be a process and it's not going to be today. But I always want my client, if I was not able to meet that need or demand that she wanted, I always want them to leave feeling like they were well taken care of and pampered, but there's a difference. I want them going home with a noticeable difference where they're feeling better. That's very important. And explain to them that I would never compromise their hair, because there are horror stories out there where ladies have gone and the stylist didn't take pride in their work and compromise their hair. Yeah.
One of the reasons I started box dyeing my hair is because after so many hours, I was walking up to the checkout and I was regretting scanning my card because I wasn't happy, or, it wasn't like, especially now that I'm a mom, it's like time is so it's more than money now. It's precious moments, it's money, and I'm also a fellow business owner, so it takes away from that. And I don't want to sit there for hours and hours and have an expectation of, oh yeah, I want, a flat color with like a couple highlights, and then I walk out and my hair is like funny. An orangutan.
I get it.
And that has happened to me before, and it's terrifying. And I still had to pay $190, and I was crying in the car as I left. And, that's why I was like, you know what? I don't care what it does to my hair. I'm just going to box dye it. But now I'm trying to grow my hair out.
Right.
And I'm realizing that my hair is no longer growing. And it's breaking. There's uneven pieces in there now that are just kind of random, because if I throw my hair up in a mom bun and I pull it down, there's this fallout of broken hair pieces. And I'm just like, okay, I got to figure something out. Because my girlfriend who went to Paul Mitchell, she used to do my hair. but we don't live close to each other anymore. So I had to like suck it up and find, experiment with other hairstylists or figure out a way to do it
Look,
myself.
at the end of the day,
and
we
that's where
want
I'm
all
at
these
now.
different fun colors and different things in our hair, but hair health has to be the number one priority because, if you want pink and purple hair or red hair or whatever, and it doesn't look healthy and it's broken and it's frizzy and it's dry, that does not, what would you rather have? I'd rather have healthy, pretty hair and get it to there. Get it, with a plan in mind to get it to, we want that length and healthy, and it's just kind of like the same thing with skin. Being a makeup artist, I find my philosophy on that is kind of similar in the sense of makeup is not going to look good on dry, ashy, broken out, acne prone skin, right? All those things. So we got to focus on having the canvas, our skin,
right,
and taking care of our skin the number one priority, because then you don't need to put on all that makeup. Less is more, and it's just a really pretty look, and that's really where we are today. We have the resources available to have pretty skin and pretty hair. It's getting in the right hands at the end of the day. And that's really, honestly, kind of the catalyst that got me into this as a second career, is because at the time I was kind of going through some of the things that you were describing, and I was just really frustrated with my hair. I have fine hair, and as I'm getting older, I have less of my fine hair. So I needed to find a style, and I'm edgy. I like fun, edgy haircuts and color. And you don't find a lot of edginess out here in Utah. So that was tough. But also, somebody taking your hairs, them not wanting to compromise your hair to get there, and being honest with you. So I needed to break up at the time. I needed to break up with my hairstylist that I'd been going to. And I was online trying to figure out a new place to go. And it was just kind of like the Pinterest thing, down the rabbit hole. There I went. And next thing I know, I'm touring schools. And then I started Paul Mitchell. But I really, I'm very vigilant about now the level of service I'm going to provide and how I'm going to provide that and how I'm going to communicate to my client, because you do hear these stories and they're common. And, I just kind of want to be that voice. Plus, I'm all about, helping women. I used to be a personal trainer. I've owned my own women's gym back in New York. And it's about motivating and inspiring women to, find their personal best and help them feel beautiful and confident, whatever that looks like in their own skin, right? I mean, we're all different, and that's really important too. And it has to be very, you have to approach all these things on a very individual basis. So that's really, my mindset, whether it's makeup or hair or my lip blush that I do. I mean, obviously people come to me because they want bright, shiny teeth. They want their white teeth. So that's an easy no-brainer one.
Hey, wine moms, let's shed those pesky COVID-19 pounds together, and let's get active again. Summer is just around the corner, and the weather is heating up. There is no better place to be for you or your health than outside in the sun and fresh air. So let's tackle the trails in a pair of Zaya Active joggers or shorts. Let's lounge by the pool in the new Mix and Match swimwear, or hit the gym in a sweat-wicking compression fast-drying pair of no-fuss light and tights. Whatever your activity may be, let's do it with Zaya Active. You can do so by visiting myzaya.com/Emmadon. That's myzaya.com/Emmadon. So where do you do the teeth whitening and the lip blush? Do you do it at your home studio, or do you do it
we live
at
in a
the
three-story
salon?
townhouse, and downstairs I happen to have commercial space, which is also known as my studio, and it's really great. I do have a lot of male clients for the teeth whitening, so it's not pink and powdery and puffy and girly. It's very, it's just very, gender neutral, and it's a very comfortable space with a beautiful view. And, I try to take one client at a time, so it's all about them. On occasion, one client leaving might overlap with another client, but to me, it's really important to give that individual all of your attention should be focused on your client and explaining every step. Okay, this is what we're doing. This is why we're doing it. And lip blush, I always say takes 2.5 hours because the numbing process and the numbing in between stopping and numbing, because different people have different pain thresholds. And I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna hurt. If anybody's ever had a tattoo before, tattoos hurt. This involves numbing cream though, so it shouldn't hurt that much once I do a second, third, fourth pass on the lips. But the lips are, different. Um,
See,
yeah.
I've been recently really
Mm-hmm.
interested in that because I used to have a co-host and she runs a
Mm-hmm.
permanent cosmetic salon and academy here in Salt Lake City. And she is
Mm-hmm.
like a master at
Mm-hmm.
lip blush. It's like that's like her favorite. That's like her thing. And she was like talking to me about it and I got curious and then I did her website for her and she was like, "Oh, if you do my
Right.
website for the school, then I will do your lip blush for free." And I was like, "Okay, like maybe,
Mm-hmm.
I'll try it and see." But ever since then, I have been because I have huge
Funny.
lips. Like they are like a bit obnoxious. And and like they're like too much. If there's like a lip reduction surgery, I would be like down for that. Um, but I I
Mm-hmm.
don't I don't do a lot of makeup.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said earlier, I'm really into skincare, not so much like makeup. Um plus like I just don't have the time. Like I
Right.
prioritize my time and it's just not high on my list. Like if I'm going out, to dinner or if I'm going somewhere, like I'll put makeup on, but I'm more in like I would rather spend my time in
Totally.
the morning doing
Totally.
skincare than I would be putting makeup on. And like that's one of the
Yeah.
things that I've been interested in is the
Yeah.
lip blush.
What's nice about it
So I
is you
might
could
have
throw
to
on a
hit you up for
gloss.
that.
Could be just a lip balm or clear gloss and go. So that's what I like about it because I do like my makeup, but there are days where you're busy. For me, I'm not a young mom like you with a 3-year-old. That's a handful in itself. But there are mornings where I just kind of want to do a light makeup
Oh
and
god, yeah.
go. And as we get older, I find less is more. I think that when I do wear a lot more makeup, it actually makes me look older. And even my husband, and I was at the Nordstrom, MAC counter. So of course I'd have to
Yes.
MAC it out every day. And I'd look in the mirror and be like, gosh, you know what? I feel like I look so much older than when I wear light makeup, and it's just so much more complimentary. But that's really was the catalyst for me getting into
Yeah.
skin, was trying different skincare lines and different things and realizing, and then also as a makeup artist, having to put makeup on different people. And if I have a client where I got to gob on the concealer and the foundation, and then I got to go to the color aspect of things, it's very hard to lay down the color and make it look natural and pretty. And to me, skin, just have natural, pretty skin,
Yeah.
and then everything else is kind of like, when you do want to put it on, like to your point about dinner, it's just like, it's like icing on the cake. You don't have to put on as much, and you just look, you feel a little more confident and pretty, and you're on your way.
New year, new wine. And of course, I'm talking nakedwines.com. If you haven't tasted the delicious, independently crafted wines from boutique winemakers around the world, can you even call yourself a fellow wine mom? Debatable. But don't worry, I got you, girl. Use code MOMMYWINES50 or click the link in the show notes below to receive your first 6 bottles delivered right to your door for only $34.99. That's $34.99 for 6 bottles of wine delivered to your door with code MOMMYWINES50. You're welcome. Yeah, if I'm spending more than 5 minutes, if I put
Mm-hmm.
makeup on and it takes me more than like 3 to 5 minutes, I have to do two faces
What's
because
this,
my son
Mom?
is
What's
obsessed
that?
with makeup.
He thinks it's
And
an art project.
what, yeah, and he does. And
Mm-hmm.
like, I think it's because it's just been me and him his whole life. So anything that I'm doing, he's curious about because there's nobody else around to like spark his curiosity. So if I'm doing something, he has to do it. He's always next to me, always by my side. And because of that, he has just like, he is obsessed with makeup. I have to store my makeup in the top shelf of my pantry because I have found him at like 10:30 at night, like a freaking Sephora junkie, sitting on the bathroom
That's
floor,
hysterical.
putting blush on his cheeks. And I'm like, come on,
That's
dude.
so funny.
You gotta go to bed. So I can't even keep it in my bathroom anymore. It has to be like in the top shelf of like the highest shelf
That's
in my
so
house,
funny.
which just
You know,
happens to
curious
be the
minds.
pantry.
He's in that age of where he's just, he's curious, and it's that discovery mode. That's the best time. You got to enjoy this time, that whole discovery mode part.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I
There,
bet.
my house is full of discovery.
That's so cute. I
It's
love that.
almost
I can't wait to meet
exhaustingly
this
full
little
of
guy. I love his
discovery.
name.
Which is, oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
everyone says that. They love
Mm-hmm.
Milo. And when I picked it out, so his dad's name is Michael, and his dad's name is Michael, and his dad's name is Michael, and it is just this big old long thing. And I am
Right.
like, there's no way I'm gonna name my son
Oh, forget
Michael.
about it.
Do you know how
Do you
many
have any Mikes
Mikes
I've dated in my
are out
lifetime?
in the world right now? I'm like, oh God. This is my
Yes. No,
second
no more
one, and
Michaels
I'm
for
like,
Emma.
okay, I'm done with you. You're obviously a bad batch. So I was trying to find,
Right.
because he was very concerned about keeping the initials. And so then after he voiced his concern about keeping the initials, it was my mission
Aw,
to find
I love
any other
Milo.
M name besides Michael. So the legacy ends with him, but
There
the
you go.
initials are still good. He can still have the hand towels in the
And
bathrobe
Dad's happy.
all
He's
he
got
wants.
those initials. That's awesome. I
Yep.
gotcha. That's great. That's
He
great.
he can stop his bitching.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead and share with all of our listeners
Sure.
where they
Thank
can
you.
find you
So
online
on
or
Instagram,
social
it is
media.
50 Shades of Beauty, comma, SLC, meaning Salt Lake City. And my name is Kimberly Hightower Downs. I'm hyphenating. I haven't officially switched over yet. I just think it's funny that my last name is Hightower and his last name is Downs. So that's kind of our little joke. But I'm on Facebook as my own name. I have started a Facebook page called 50 Shades of Beauty SLC. I don't give it as much attention, I will admit, as Instagram, because Instagram is just so much fun for me to share my learning journey over the last 2 years and my journey, becoming tighter in the makeup industry and the skincare industry. And, now that I'm out and exploring and, taking clients of my own and posting my work, right now, because I'm not, as I stated before, I'm putting up a lot of hair inspirations and makeup inspirations and, tying it in with nails and pedicures because, this spring we're going to be showing our toes soon and, makeup inspiration coordinating with. I just did a whole peanut butter and jelly coloration spread on my Instagram. Loving the whole idea of that really nice light caramelly brown or a nice light brown with a little purple or violet thrown in. Yeah. So right now, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cute.
Mm-hmm.
See, I'm
Yeah, that's
all
how
about
I
like a
was red
crazy
or red
color,
and
but
blonde the
very
whole time I
subtle.
was in school. And then when I graduated, I'm like, you know what? I need a new color. So now I'm purple, but it's not a loud, bright purple. It's just like a really deep, pretty purple. And I'm loving it. And a lot of my regular clients, they hadn't seen the change, and they're seeing me for the first time when that, because now they're coming to me at Penny's and they're like, wow, I love that color on you. And I'm like, who would have thought, this color would be such a good match, but I'm going to have to stick with it for a while. But yeah, so that's where you can find me on Instagram. And right now, I didn't even realize until I went to work for them that JCPenney had a hair salon and how nice it is inside. And I, as a hairdresser, love it because they have amazing products for me to use, whether it be back bar products, color. We use Matrix. I'm loving the results it's giving. It's easy for me to articulate and work with. It's similar to Paul Mitchell. So that's a good thing for me. And it's just a really pretty place to be. It's not loud and crazy. So it is relaxing. And, I can really give that pampering experience, which I like. I can get to really build a relationship and rapport with my client because we can talk and hear each other, which is really important.
Yeah. I used to have
Mm-hmm.
dreads because
Mm-hmm.
if you thought I had given up on my hair when I said I used box dye, you should have seen me when I got dreads.
Mm-hmm.
But I had dreads for about 3 years. And I brushed them all out when I was pregnant with my son.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually went in Nevada to a JCPenney salon to kind of just do a deep condition.
Yeah. So
Trim up
I'm
the
loving
ends,
it.
that
And,
kind of stuff.
it's great
And I
because
loved
my
it.
audience would be the same audience that would come to me to my studio for their lip blush or teeth whitening. So it just all works really well. And you mentioned dreads. So I have taken a couple dread classes, and that's something that I would like to manifest this year. That's really important to me. There's a lot of meaning behind dreads. There's a lot of history behind dreads that it is fascinating. I also am looking to get Reiki certified this year, and I think Reiki and dreads go very hand in hand, and that's something that I want to add here in my studio.
Oh yeah.
So that's coming in, end of 2020, maybe 2021, wherever the journey takes me. But I have a calling for that. I'm very interested in learning that, and this is going to be a year of continued education, elevated education, and really looking at the hair color perspective and the hair cutting. That's my key, because really to be a great artist, I think you've got to be great at one or two things, not 20 different things. Yeah. So that's. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh yeah. You kind of have
Exactly. And
a
that's my
honed,
own passion and specialty.
passion or
It
a
is my happy
specialty.
place. I am in heaven. I could color hair all day. I mean, that is my happiest moments, is when I'm coloring hair. I get so into it. And I'm about this, especially now, but I'm sure you can agree. It's about do what you love and love what you do. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm very blessed and lucky to do that. And so this year, you mentioned dread, so that's something that I'm looking into in Reiki, and I'm excited about that and whatever else the universe has planned for me this year. We just gotta make it through this tough time, which I think everybody's being very positive about. And I've had, personally, for me, it's been an interesting journey. I've had some aha moments during this time. So I think we all are. I think it's a break, and it's an opportunity for us to be home and really appreciate the things that we have. I think it's really important to step back, and I think this is that time for all of us to take that step back and be at home and nourish our home, nourish our family, nourish our family, our friends, and ourselves. I know I'm taking full advantage of that right now. So I'm gonna go back, lean and mean and ready to go. That's my plan.
Me too. I
Mm-hmm.
know. I'm trying to take this time to just clear my head, be the best me I can be, get my
Absolutely.
priorities back in order.
Yep.
Because, sometimes life gets you and, you get out
I
of
did
sync.
too.
But
Well,
yeah,
I'm so
I
thank you.
loved our
Grateful that
chat.
you
Thank you
invited
for
me, and
being
this has been
my guest
awesome. And
today.
I'm looking forward to chatting with you more, Miss.
Are you a fan of the Mommy Wines podcast? Well, of course you are, or you wouldn't be hearing this right now. One of the best ways to support the show you love, besides obviously tuning in every Wine Wednesday for new episodes, is shopping the Mommy Wines merch store on teespring.com. This is where you'll find all of the Mommy Wines branded goodness, mugs to hold your coffee over cardio morning Java, iPhone and Samsung cases, premium ultra soft hoodies perfect for upcoming cooler months, and of course flowy tees and tanks flattering on every mommy out there. Go shop the Mommy Wines storefront on teespring.com and make sure to use code WINEMOM for free shipping. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Mommy Wines podcast. Make sure to leave a rating and review. To support the show you love, check out the exclusive branded merchandise on themommywines.com. For extra sassy, honest, and potentially controversial content, make sure to join me over on the Mommy Wines Patreon. Also, don't forget to check out the other shows on the MW Network. If you love scary stories and true crime, you'll love Tales After Dark. More shows are coming soon, so make sure to stay connected on social at Mommy Wines Podcast. And until next Wine Wednesday, mamas, parent and drink responsibly.